We're a few minutes late. Welcome, everybody, to the Nonprofit Edge, Strategies to Lead, Adapt, and Grow. We're really happy you are joining us. And if you're here for the first time, this live stream is dedicated to the nonprofit industry to help you navigate more of a complex and challenging time. And we can't believe we're already at episode 9. And Joe, we are moving and shaking and making things happen. And so glad to see you again.
Yeah, it's a hot topic today for sure.
I know. I've got a little bit of a delay here. It seems to always happen when I'm in the North Carolina arena. I'm not sure what's going on there, but bear with us. We have like a little bit more of a tech topic today, and I don't know if it's one that nonprofits are sitting around the boardroom all day and talking about, but I think it's a really important one. And I really love the fact that you are a true expert on this topic, and it's one that we need to bring people's attention to, and it's all about bridges. And it's which bridges matter. It's iMIS integration, how you can save time, how you can improve the member experience, but as long as you have the right bridges into your system. And so we're going to kick this off with, I think the first most important question is, we don't want this to be too techy. So let's start with the definition of what bridges are. So can you kick that off, Joe, with kind of starting the conversation with letting people know what a bridge is, define this context for us?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so because nonprofits do so many different things and they want to offer so many different services to their clientele, they ultimately end up with, a lot of times 2, 3, 4, even 5 important, an LMS system or, other systems that, has important information. So a bridge is really a two-way connection between iMIS and these third-party systems. And what it enables you to do is it enables you to have all of your important data in iMIS in one place. It's also, you can set these up to update in real time. So that way, if like, for instance, a third-party marketing system needs to know what your preferences are right away, you can do that. Another thing about bridges too, especially today, is that they're fully automated. A bridge is not something that usually requires a lot of maintenance. And we do have some bridges where there's some workflow and some, staff approval and things like that. But generally speaking, everything just kind of happens automatically behind the scenes. So you don't have to do any manual effort.
So can you dive in a little bit deeper into these benefits for people? I mean, you kind of touched upon them, but can you give them like a deeper idea about what those benefits would be?
Yeah. So I mean, bridges have been around a long time, and people know what they are. And traditionally, in most cases, bridges have been what they call a SaaS product, a software as a service product, which is essentially what it is clients are paying for some software. But so the thing about a bridge is a bridge requires to be self-hosted. It can't live in the client like a client-side iPart. So most organizations don't have, they're not aware of how to do that themselves. So ultimately they need someone to host that solution, and they end up paying the full product price every year, year after year, usually with a 10% increase, really ultimately just to pay for hosting. Because once a bridge works, it's not something that's going to be changed very often. And I think that, a lot of organizations don't really realize how expensive it is because they price everything in 3 years, So if something's a little bit more expensive in year 1, then it looks like it's, evens out if over 3 years, but you go look at 10, 20 years, I mean, the savings is really huge. So, I think hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, so if we're hosting a bridge in our company, it's self-hosting, right? We have the Azure DevOps program. How does that differ from a SaaS product bridge? So you talked a little bit about that SaaS product. How would ours differ? Talked a little bit about cost, but what we do, how would it be different than the others?
Well, I come at this from an interesting perspective as a developer who kind of has been around a long time, and you start to fall behind the latest technology. And Yeah, so basically, the main thing is if you self-host your own bridge, then you can make it, it's you have your own copy of the software. So therefore, if you want to do things a little different than everyone else, you can. With a product, it's kind of like it works the way it works, and that's it. So you can't be flexible. You can't really be adaptable. Obviously, we talked about this before. The long-term costs are savings are significant. So let me back up a little bit and talk about our self-hosting program. So what we've done is we've established 3 levels of hosting, and we've used our expertise to come up with all the components a developer would need to be able to use all the tools available in iMIS and to be able to build these bridges yourself. So the net result, we have several clients on this program, and the net result for pretty much all the clients is that the monthly cost to host all their bridges, they might have 3 or 4. It's like about $25 a month. So if you do that math, then you're looking at what is that? $300 a year for all your
Right.
bridges, as opposed to 4 or 5 grand for each bridge. So you can see the savings is tremendous. Also, too, we help customers set it up, but it's actually in their name, and they're dealing directly with Microsoft. So we don't get anything from them doing it. And you ask why? Well, why would you facilitate it? Well, we have clients make it so we can connect and we can deploy things. So they're hopefully would use us for development. But other than that, we just help clients for free get set up with their own DevOps, and you have your own staging and your own production system, and then so you're ready to build any bridge that you need, and you can host as many bridges as you want yourself without having to pay that huge SaaS fee. What else did I wanted to? Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. So just to summarize, the John Consulting Azure self-hosting program, we help you for free to. We have a basic, standard, and enterprise packages, and they're all optimized and ready to go, and you can be set up in a few days, and then basically you can just have all of your webhooks, all of your workflows, all your bridges, apps that need elevated permission. That's very important. We could talk about that. But all these things are possible with this DevOps. So not only does the DevOps replace the bridges, but now you have access to all this functionality that you wouldn't have otherwise. So,
I think the one thing that I'm hearing that I think is probably a good way to look at this is that people have been renting their bridges.
yeah,
And now they actually own these
right.
bridges. So you're giving them the opportunity to walk away with an entire system that they control their bridge.
Right. And
Right.
also, so the thing is, too, is so we have Andrew's amazing. He's extremely fast. Andrew uses AI in his workflow. He's about twice as fast as I ever was. So it's just amazing what the young talent can do. But yeah, so we've already have, I think, 9 bridges built. So we have a list of bridges that we've already built. And so if you want a bridge that's on that list, then we would do like a one-time product fee in line with what our competitors would charge every year. Of course, they always increases 10% a year. So you would just pay one time for the bridge. Then you take that bridge and then say, here's how it works. Anything you want to change, or you want to change a few things, no problem. Change it for you. Here you go. Working exactly the way you want it on your hosted environment. You can change it anytime you want, and you get just paid one time for the software, and that's it. And then services, and that's it. And then you own it. It costs next to nothing moving forward. So it's a great way to go. Yeah.
Can you share with the audience what type of products would be included? What type of bridges? Are there certain brand names out there? I know MailChimp or Mail Monkey
Yeah.
Survey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which ones out there are you connected with? What bridges?
Yeah, the most common ones we see would be for LMS. A lot of nonprofits they do certifications and they do learning management, and so having an LMS bridge. One example of what bridge that we've built at LMS is Absorb. So we built a very very wonderful Absorb bridge. Also, too, what's very popular is webinars. So webinars are something that's it's an important benefit. It's something you can monetize to non-members as a benefit to members. And basically, so a webinar would be like Zoom Bridge, Blue Sky, things like that. We have both built already, a Zoom and a Blue Sky bridge. So if you're looking for one of those two, we already have it. Another common one would be online communities. So a lot of nonprofits, a lot of these are people in a certain sector, and being able to have an online platform to speak to each other is very important. And probably the most popular online community would be Higher Logic. Also, people use it for marketing. So everyone does marketing, so you want to have that automation, so it's integrated to iMIS if you're using marketing. And we do have a constant contact bridge that's coming soon. Another common type of bridge would be like for surveys. So we have a Survey Monkey bridge. The advantage of doing a survey integration, iMIS is great when it comes to submitting forms when you're logged in. But if you just want to take something anonymously, then that's a good thing to have. So I think those are kind of So LMSs, webinars, online communities, marketing, and surveys are kind of the typical ones. But you can integrate with anything. I mean, there's thousands and tens of thousands of platforms out there. Yeah.
Now, I know one that I've used in the past is Zapier, kind of connection.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's important for organizations to, collecting all their important data in iMIS right now in preparation for these AI utilities? Why is it really, really important that organizations start thinking about that? Because when I started, I'm like, I don't think they're around the boardroom or in their meetings sitting there going, all right, I need a bridge. I need to maybe consolidate these bridges. Why should they really start thinking about this and collecting this data?
I mean, it's very, very important that organizations have all of their important information in one place, and and obviously, sophisticated large organizations are going to have needs where they're going to have multiple platforms. So you need to make sure that everything that's important to you ends up into your enterprise system, which is iMIS, because you need to have all your different KPI metrics in one place to be able to do your analysis, to be able to really what your ultimate goal is to build data lakes. So a data lake could be like a membership, or like your fundraising efforts, or event registrations. So you're basically building these data lakes, consisting of like historical activity and product sales and things like that. So yeah, I mean it's yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think today things are so complicated, and AI is supposed to simplify things. And I think you're right. Everything needs to live in one place.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to the no longer renting.
Right.
Control. Everything should be about you owning everything. It's even websites,
Right.
Own your website. Don't let the website developer have all your passports, and every time you need an update, you've got to go back to them, because it's almost like they control everything. They control your content, they control the narrative. You've got to own it all. And all in one place is the best way to go. Own versus rent. Yeah. So we've talked about hosting bridges. Key benefits for iMIS clients to host their own Azure DevOps. I think we've kind of covered.
Well, there's a lot there. Bridges, so that they're built to your specifications. So you're not going to get a no. You're going to get a yes. If you want to do something a little different than other people. Most clients end up paying about $25 a month for all their bridges. So especially if you're an organization that has 3 or 4 integrations that you need, I mean, it's a huge savings. We had one client that was on the hook for 11 grand a year, and now they're paying zero, or they're paying their $25 a month for three. They're paying 11 grand a year for 3 bridges. And for the cost they were quoted to implement those products, we actually built 3 replacement bridges from scratch for them, and then now they're saving 11 grand a year next year, 12 grand a year after that, 13 a year after that. So it's a great savings. Another thing that people don't know about, people probably heard the word webhook, but don't know what it is. So a webhook essentially is a triggered event from iMIS. So they've built what they call them change notifications. So if you go to help.imis.com and look up change notifications, that's what this is. And ultimately what it does is it allows you to just say, if X, Y, if something happens like this, create a trigger to automatically fire the product. So that the webhooks are very important. You can use a webhook for internal flows inside of iMIS. So it's like, oh, if this company does this, make sure all their employees are updated to this. So all those workflows can be built in to happen immediately. Or you can build those triggered workflows between iMIS and other third-party systems. So that's what a webhook is. It's a triggered event, allows you to do immediate updates. You can also do scheduled processes. So scheduled processes. So in the old days, people would schedule all their SQL processes, and they'd have jobs, and so you can schedule things to run as often as you like. That's usually with bridges. We'll do like when there's a login, they pull the data for that person, and once a day they'll do a data sync. Or like for Zoom, for instance, in Zoom you want to know who's registered, who actually showed up, and who paid attention, how long were they actually on there. And so, with the Zoom bridge, all that is written immediately in real time to iMIS, So those are some examples. On the previous question, I do have a couple points I wanted to make. You were asking about why is it important to have a bridge? Yeah, so I mean, I think it's another thing that's really important with bridges is automating this. I think there are a lot of organizations out there that do integrations, but they've got a human being downloading a file and uploading a spreadsheet, and that's not good. So that you want to make sure that you can actually save money. If you've got labor going into these manual integration processes, you're saving money. So I wanted to bring that point up as well. So
yeah, I mean, this is a conversation about saving time and improving that member experience, and that's what nonprofits need to do, is to reduce their costs, make this more efficient, and it is all about improving the member experience. Now,
another thing is to make your data more reliable too. If you've got relying on human beings for data entry, I mean, there are going to be mistakes made. Whereas a program, it's going to be accurate. It's going to be data is going to be very reliable.
Yeah, it is increasing the accuracy of that. Mm-hmm. So from my perspective on the marketing side, I heard about webinars, right? I heard about communications were about member experience. That kind of falls on the marketing department, the communications department. We talk about engagement all the time. We're talking about
that's
huge. Huge. We talked about, SurveyMonkey. Obviously, that goes back to making sure we're improving the member experience, the engagement aspect of it, making sure we're getting the segmentation and the conversation right. Do these bridges fall in the marketing department? Are they the ones who should be responsible for making the decisions on what bridges they need, what type of conversation we should be having? Are they the ones who we should be talking to?
Well, every department potentially could have a bridge. So marketing, Constant Contact and MailChimp are very common. And it's very important. That the marketing is one where I think a lot of organizations say, oh, we'll just manually do it. Pull down a file, upload it, pull down information, upload it. But it's not efficient at all. So yeah, marketing is very important for that. So automating that, you can not only make sure that Constant Contact has the latest information on changes from iMIS. So but then also that click data and all that valuable data that's in your Constant Contact or Mailchimp then gets pulled down and gets written as activities in iMIS. So ultimately, you want all the things that people can do and all the touches they can make. You want all those in iMIS as activities. Ultimately, yeah.
In your opinion, you've been doing this a very long time. Why don't you think that nonprofits have this on their radar?
Oh, I think they do. I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. I think it's just it's been you go to a nonprofit. So this is what it normally looks like. Say, hey, I've got a Constant Contact bridge, and we thought it would be really good if we had this bridge. And then they go to a traditional partner and they say, well, how big is your organization? Oh, you got 15 users. Okay, so they charge based on your size. And say, okay, well, all right, well, we have a bridge. It works, and it probably does 80 or 90% of what you want to do, but that last little 10%, sorry, and then they're going to say, okay, $5,000 a year, and 2,500 to implement it, $5,000 a year, and then next year you get a bill for 5,500, and then that's $6,000, so then you're just paying that. That's an ongoing. And so people look at that long-term cost. Nonprofits are looking for ways to be more efficient and be more thrifty. And I think that they see those numbers and they're just like, well, we'll just keep doing the manual, upload between them. It works. It's not ideal. But now it's like, okay, come and say, okay, well, now here's a product that does 95% what you want to do. That last 5-10%, no problem. Give us 1,500 to build it exactly the way you want it. And then you pay a similar amount, but you just do it once. You don't have to then you're not on the hook for any future invoices for that product. It's on your system. It's your tenant registered to your organization directly with Microsoft. You just give us access, and if you want to close it down, it's yours. It's so we just want to empower. I see nonprofits. It's dear to my heart. I've been in this space 24 years, and they have a lot of needs, and they don't have a lot of money to spend. And this is an area where I think that there's just been some market skimming. It's time to bring the prices down.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. I just don't think it's awareness that they know that this is out there. And I think that's where
they know about bridges and they know they're expensive.
Right.
I'm telling you, most of them already know that much. They probably don't know you can host it yourself.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. They don't know that this opportunity is out there, and that's where we're going to come in. That's why we're having this conversation. This is an important conversation, and there's an alternative out there. If you want to reduce costs without reducing capabilities, maybe even elevating capabilities, owning your own bridge, this is available.
And I think one thing that gets lost on people, but from my point of view, I would constantly get clients asking me for things that absolutely required this, and you just couldn't do it without a hosted environment. And that's giving elevated permissions. So anytime you want to be able to take a submission from somebody without requiring them to be logged in and have the security, then you need to have that endpoint. And one example of elevated permissions, we have a National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, and their attorneys, they wanted to have an online submission form where they get to, people can ask a lawyer a question and get a free answer, free consultation through their online directory, but they have to submit their email, all the information that they need. And then once they submit it, they don't have to be logged in. So anonymous user can come in, fill out their information, submit it, and then it writes the communication to the lawyer. So now here's a record in our database, an activity of you getting a referral from our website. And then also too, process automation that will automatically email out all the parties, so everyone gets the email. And then now, when the lawyer logs into his profile, he sees all 200 people that have contacted him. It's like, well, am I going to renew this? Yeah, I better. So that's like how you can add value. And once you've got that hosted environment, there really won't be anything you can't do. You'll be able to do anything. So
great. And one thing that we've been working on and that we've just about finished is we now have two client brochures. right?
Yeah.
One that lays out the cost for the bridges and also goes more in depth about the bridges and the features and the benefits. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how they can get copies of this?
Yeah. So what are those? So we got the one that, oh yeah. So we've got our self-hosted packages, and
Yes.
it has pricing in it, and it itemizes out exactly what's in the build. The thing that I like about it is we know we didn't leave anything out. Andrew did this, and I say, hey, optimize the DevOps that these clients need, and so that everyone gets a test and a production environment. They have functions, they can do webhooks, they can do scheduled services, they can you basically build anything, build any bridge that you want. The one thing that clients have to know how to do, or they should know how to do, is in Microsoft Azure is very secure, as you know. There's a data vault. So if you have a password that changes between one of your systems, you just have to we train them how to go in and change the password in the data vault to make sure the bridges keep working. So other than that, I think a lot of people kind of like, oh, well, it's too complicated. There's really not. I mean, it's a Microsoft utility. It's optimized for developers. It's very, very low cost. It's very efficient. I mean, it's $25 a month. It's just Microsoft is very competitive with their pricing. So yeah, you get the satisfaction of knowing no one's making a margin on me. I'm working direct. You're working direct with Microsoft. We're just facilitating. That's it.
Right, right. So, if anybody out there would like those two brochures, we have them available. I think probably the best way to go about getting them, Joe, if I'm right, is to go to our website, maybe and do our contact form and request it. I would say johnconsulting.net. But I think we're going to work on maybe putting up a special landing page where people can go ahead, put their email in, and just download them. I think that's what we're working on, maybe in just a few days, to make it easily accessible for you. Because I think once you see the features and the benefits and then all the different bridges that you can pick and easily integrate, and remember, not rent, but own, and then just see the prices. Yeah. And then see the prices and how reasonable it is. I think you're just going to be amazed. So all that information is going to be available.
Yes. So seeing those hosting packages and then seeing the list of 9 or 10 bridges that we have, if you see something that you need, we've already got it, and we can turn it around quickly, and there'll be a one-time product fee. But I think it's important to note too that modern developers like Andrew who use AI, they're very fast. And even if you have some, you might have connection that you need that there's no bridge for, or it's hard, or maybe there's a bridge that you need that's not on our list. We can build them from scratch pretty quickly. So I think for a lot of bridges, we could actually, if there's a bridge that we don't have already built that you need, and you don't want to get into a $5,000 a year deal forever, we could build you a bridge from scratch, usually, in the $5,000 to $8,000 range, just for a brand new bridge built, and we would build it to your specifications. So, yeah.
Perfect. It's totally customized for you. So,
yeah.
So we're getting close to our 30 minutes. I wanted to give you the opportunity. Any final thoughts about bridges?
Yeah, I think, you should, nonprofits, I've been thinking about for years, because I know as a business owner, I was on me. I was the tech guy, but I've been doing this a long time. I started falling behind the times, and I knew I needed to have my own self-hosted environment. And so, just doing that research, and once I figured out, like, hey, look at all, it's just so much value. It's not that expensive. And I was like, all nonprofits should be doing this. They shouldn't be. Nonprofits have very complicated rules. They got very difficult needs. They need this. They need something that will make sure everything speaks together, and that everything they want to do, they can do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for an amazing episode. We will be returning for episode 10. And it is going to be kind of a continuation a little bit about this topic. We're going to be talking about Azure-powered nonprofits, and we're going to be talking about scaling iMIS and the automation and performance on the cloud. So you've got to come back for that episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and joining us for the Nonprofit Edge. I hope that you have found this information valuable, and please reach out and we'll have those brochures available for you. Please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we also have a brand new newsletter on LinkedIn. Yeah. We'd love for you to subscribe. It is doing so well. We have unbelievable articles from the team, and they are just unbelievably jam-packed with information, all for nonprofits. So please go ahead and subscribe to that. And we also have our company newsletter you can subscribe to, which gives you even more value. So everybody, we will see you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. And Joe, thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Maureen. Thanks, everybody.